welcome to episode 4 of Market Fresh Meals. We're here at the market today to purchase ingredients for our recipe. We're going to be making stir fry this time, and it's the height of the season at the market. So we are just going to go and see what vegetables there are, and we're going back to the kitchen and walk it up. So I'm here purchasing some ingredients for our stir fry today. It's the height of the season, so we have lots of options. Today I'm going to get some cabbage, and some peas, and some beans, and some zucchini. They have both yellow and green. But with the stir fry, you can basically put any vegetables in that you would like. So you have lots of options this time of year. We're here buying some more ingredients for our stir fry. I'm going to buy some baby bok choy today from Colby, Now Chow, and Ka. One of our vendors. They've been in Sheboygan since 1982, a long time. And where are your farms located?
Near Plymouth.
Near Plymouth. Okay, great. Can you tell me anything about baby bok choy? Do you eat it a lot?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how would I cut this up?
You just
Just chop the ends off?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, Just dump it in the
Yeah.
pot.
Yeah, and dump it in the pot. These look really nice. The nice green leaves on here. So I will take 2 of these. One more, yeah.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Watch out.
Here we are today again at the Relish Kitchen, and we are here with Maria with a lovely recipe. What are we cooking today?
Today we're going to make a stir fry, chicken stir fry with a ginger sauce, and then apples with caramel dip.
That sounds great. I see we have lots of delicious veggies available, so we'll talk a little bit about those, but how are we going to start?
We're going to make the rice first.
Okay.
Just as we did in the first episode with the couscous, we're going to use vegetable broth rather than water
Okay.
to cook the rice.
And gives it a little more flavor. So this is about 1.5 cups, you said?
I usually use a cup of rice, 1.5 cups of liquid.
All right.
A lot of people prefer to use 2 cups. But
You get the right burner.
yes,
So medium heat for that?
yeah,
All right.
medium. Let the water start boiling.
Okay.
So we'll get the rice started, and then we'll start on the vegetables.
All right.
So we have a lot of vegetables here. It is prime season at the market.
Do have a lot of vegetables. So tell us a little bit about what you brought today.
So we have some baby bok choy, which looks like that before it's cut up. Green beans, 2 types of zucchini, cauliflower, peas, broccoli, carrots, and cabbage.
Some cabbage, sure. And those vegetables are all available. There's many different other varieties of vegetables, so you can choose whatever you and your family like. Definitely love having all the different colors. I think, the more veggies you can add, especially now when they're in season, the better. So, all right. So we have, and then you said the marinade that we're going to use?
Yeah, so the marinade is their soy sauce, dry sherry, broth, brown sugar, and sesame oil, and then cornstarch as a thickening agent. You can use all of these ingredients to make a marinade for the meat, and then if you want to double the recipe, and then you can use the other half to use for the sauce.
Okay, great.
Which we add later.
And I like that you paired the different oil. I think that's going to help bring out some of the flavor too. We do like to marinate meats just to bring a little flavor if you want to add some flavor to whatever meat that you're having. Today we're using chicken, and that is from the Ledgecrest Farms. Is that correct? Okay. So yeah, marinating that allows the meat to just take on a little bit more flavor and helps bring out some of the flavor into the dish. So, all right. So we're going to get started with that first.
Yeah. So it's,
Is that boiling?
add the rice.
Right. Should I grab the chicken out for you?
Sure. So I went ahead and made some marinade to put on the chicken.
And how many chicken breasts do we have here? 4 about. We talked about that, I think, in the first episode.
Yes.
Typically a serving, or the recipes that we have are for a family of 4. So 1 chicken breast or so per per member, and about a deck of cards. I think we talked about that in the beginning too. So let that marinate
Set it.
in the fridge. You got it? Yeah, thank you.
It's kind of full.
All right. So, and how long do we want to marinate that? You said about an hour?
Yeah, you can marinate it for an hour, or you can marinate it up 24 hours overnight
Okay.
if you have a lot of time.
And we kind of talked too that we really shouldn't be using the marinade over, right? We want to, if we're going to
Right.
toss that. If you have
Yeah.
any raw meat in there, should we move this to the back burner
Yep.
or side?
Yep. That's right. You don't want to reuse the marinade that the meat has soaked in. Just dump it out when you're finished.
So use the, like you said, double the ingredients to make the extra sauce so that we're not taking that chance of getting ill. Very good. And rinsing the meat as well. We typically rinse the meat. If you get it from the farmer's market, you can always rinse it just to be safe, and make sure you wash your hands especially, and your surfaces that you're preparing the food on too, so that you don't get sick.
Right.
Okay, so heating up, this is a ceramic wok that we're using today.
Ceramic
Compliments
coated.
again, a ceramic coated from Relish. So, and we're adding a little bit of oil.
Yep, I'm just using vegetable oil
Okay.
today. Most people have vegetable oil in their cupboards. You can use peanut oil also, which is typical for stir fry. Unless, of course, you have aversion to peanut oil.
Right, but a good another taste that you can probably add a little bit of flavor having that peanut in there.
Yes,
So
it does add flavor.
great.
So we're going to actually start with the meat first.
Okay. Oops.
So.
I'm gonna just dump that right in there, or take it. How do you want to grab it with a spoon?
Well, yeah. Take it out of the sauce. Here, here's the other one.
Oh, sure, probably. Huh? I'll let you scoop.
Okay.
I'll hold.
No, whatever. So you want the pan to get hot first.
You can hear it sizzling,
Yes,
so
you
it's
can
ready
hear
to
it
go.
sizzling. That's good. You want heat for your stir fry, but as with most good pans, you still don't want to put it on anything other than medium heat. You don't want to go much higher than that. You can ruin the pan. So it'll just take a couple minutes for the meat to saute, and then we will take the meat out, and then we'll start with the vegetables. We can do in batches. Obviously, all these vegetables will not fit in the pan all at once. And you can do it either way. You can do like one vegetable at a time, or you can just do a little bit of each in the pan, but it cooks more evenly that way. Another good tip is to cut your vegetables all so they're all sort of the same size, so that they all kind of cook the same rate.
And we prepped all of the veggies. We sliced most of them up prior to, but that's also a good way to help, get family involved. Like we talked about, again, mealtime is one of those things you want to focus on, eating with your family, and, getting the kids involved, especially. This is something we could do together. About how long does it take for the meat to turn a specific color?
Yeah, about 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
You just want it to be a nice golden brown, as always.
Right. We did talk about how we want to have these recipes that Maria is choosing for us to be heart healthy. So something important to kind of identify, we're using some of the nice oils that you had said, the sesame and the peanut for today. Those are mono or polyunsaturated fats. You really want to try and stay away from saturated fats if you're watching your cholesterol. And one thing, I'm not sure, cholesterol is one of those things that you should have checked at least every 5 years if you're 20 years or older. So that's something to keep in mind. So,
Oh, good.
yep. That looks great.
Yeah. Thanks.
So set the chicken aside then and saute the vegetables once it's ready.
Yes. And then we'll continue to add a little bit of oil to the pan as needed.
Okay.
After each batch.
Do you add the vegetables in a certain order? Do you prepare them? Does it make a difference?
It doesn't really matter. So
Okay.
much. I'll probably just take a combination of all of them.
Toss them all in. That would be another fun thing too, like having all of the different varieties of veggies that are out there and have the kids choose whatever they want. You could make it, specific to them and unique to them if they wanted to try something different. All right.
I mean, you could start with carrots, or do some of the denser vegetables separately because they take longer to cook.
Cook, sure.
But generally, you kind of want them to be tender, crisp anyway.
Okay.
And the thing about stir fry, of course, is that you stir, 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 stir.
Right. Looks great. We cut the chicken into little bite-sized pieces too, which is a little bit easier just to help it cook in bite-size
Right.
for the kids too.
Makes the meat go a little bit longer way.
Right, right. Yeah. And check that rice quick.
All right.
Okay. Rice is cooking away, so we're just about done. Does that chicken look ready?
Just about.
Okay.
Probably add a little.
Sure. Now this time of the year is especially plentiful for different veggies and fruits at the market. You can use whatever, like we mentioned, lots of different vendors available. You can have whatever is on hand that week for your stir fry. Do you have any favorites that you like?
Vegetables?
Yes,
Oh my gosh, I love them all.
you do.
I do. I love vegetables. I do like peas quite a bit in stir fry.
I like the zucchini squash is actually some of my favorite too. I think we don't buy that as often in the winter time, so when you see it in the fall, it's nice to have a little bit of cabbage.
Yep. A little bit of cabbage.
So we don't have to season the veggies at all. We just with a little olive oil. So the seasoning really is going to come from the chicken. All right. In the bok choy.
And then the sauce that we'll add.
Okay.
afterwards.
Green beans.
And I did cut up the green beans a little bit.
Sure.
So they're more bite sized.
Sure. A little cauliflower.
Start stirring.
Awesome. Thank you. This is a meal also that definitely fits that rainbow of colors we talked about in the first episode, where you want to try and fill your plate with half fruits and veggies, and this definitely will fit that bill.
Definitely.
Great job.
Couple more.
All right. Now, do we need to cover the wok, or does it cook on its own?
No, you don't need to cover it.
Okay. Maybe a little bit more oil,
Yeah.
or is that good? Perfect.
So you want the vegetables to be tender crisp, so it really just takes a few minutes.
Sure.
If the pan is hot.
I think we're done with the rice.
Yeah. Got all the vegetables.
All right. I'll let you take that. I'll just
All right.
double check this.
And you know the vegetables are starting to get cooked when they turn bright, vivid colors. They're overcooked when they start turning a dull color. Better to undercook than overcook for stir fry.
And why would you say that?
So I don't like soggy vegetables.
That's true. And they also have, they keep more of the nutrition if they are not overcooked too. So
Good
that's
point.
good. Yep. Looks great. Oh, you wanted a bigger bowl for the vegetables.
You can kind of see they're turning
They are.
bright color.
Yes, they are. And seasoning, like we mentioned, is really going to come from the sauce that you are going to make.
Correct.
ginger you have as well as garlic. I know ginger is one of those kind of medicinal roots that people tend to use for indigestion. I know that's one of those nice purposes of helping if you have, some sort of indigestion. They say that that is one of those nice properties for that. So do you tend to use the whole ginger root, or can we use that a powder if we don't have the root available?
Ginger root is much better.
Okay.
It adds a lot more flavor and a lot more nutritional value.
Sure.
The powder is fine in a pinch.
Sure, in a pinch. Yeah.
It's good to have on hand.
Yeah. Now that looks definitely much more colorful.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so and then we're going to make the sauce.
Okay.
So we're going to add a little more oil. We're going to saute the garlic and the ginger. Can I have that measure or
Oh, sure.
something for the sauce?
There you go.
Thank you.
And that was soy sauce.
You could stir that.
All right.
Yep, so that was soy sauce, the dry sherry, the vegetable broth, brown sugar, sesame oil.
And what if people don't have dry sherry on hand? Could they use something else?
Yeah,
Like a vinegar, possibly?
I mean, there are a lot of different cooking wines. You could use probably any one of them, really, or
Okay.
actual wine.
I was just going to ask, can you use actual
Yeah.
wine? Okay.
Although you might not want to drink the sherry cooking wine.
No.
Doesn't necessarily translate.
No.
And then I just add the cornstarch.
Sure.
This is our thickening agent. You see that's turning a little bit
Yep, I
golden
see that.
brown.
Looks
We're going to add
great.
the sauce.
Smells delicious. And how long do you, till it thickens?
No, we're just going to add the meat now.
Oh, okay. I'll let you pour. Oops, I'm sorry. And some of the vegetables at the farmer's market that are available, if you're not sure what they are, you certainly can ask the vendors. They can explain to you what they can be used for. A lot of them even have recipes.
Yes, they do.
And speaking of the recipe,
Secrets.
yeah, if you're looking for this recipe from today's episode, you can find it at the SCIO website. And also you can view the episode at the WSCSsheboygan.com website, or you can also go to the SCIO website and click on the Farmers Market link to view the episode and the previous episodes. All right, let me grab that.
And this is another reason, a good reason to undercook the vegetables just a little bit, because you do add them back to the pan, so they will cook a little bit more.
It looks really great.
Yeah.
Smells wonderful too.
So another minute or two, the
Okay.
sauce will thicken.
Sure. Well, you certainly have gotten a lot of great, yummy recipes with a variety of all of the things that are available at the farmers market. So can't wait to see what you're going to prepare for the next episode.
Yeah, we'll be featuring root vegetables on the next episode.
Okay, great.
In the fall.
So, and the rice looks like it should be done as well. And again, you can use rice or couscous depending on whatever you have on
That's true.
hand.
Brown rice
Brown rice.
has the most benefits.
Absolutely,
Right?
yeah. Couscous is good too. But stir fry is traditionally you serve it with the rice, so that looks great. Wonderful.
Okay.
And now we're going to do the caramel apple.
Yes. Okay.
So Maria, we're going to just take a little break from the cooking and talk about how to prepare some of the veggies that we have, especially some of those that maybe people aren't familiar with using. So one for me would definitely be the ginger, and then probably even cabbage. So and the bok choy. If you want to help explain a little bit
Sure.
what we can use, if we have special tools that are needed, if we can use just a knife at home, or what you or recommend.
Okay, well, I'll start with the baby bok choy. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
And it's also very similar to cabbage.
Okay.
And it's also, it's a lot like celery too. So you basically just cut off the bottom part.
Okay. And how do we tell when we're choosing it from the farmer's market that when it's ready? Like if you want to pick, kind of like how we talked about the rhubarb, making sure that it's not wilty. You want to have bright green colors. The brighter, the
Yes.
vibrant the color, then the more fresh it's going to be.
Light green and
Okay.
clear leaves.
Okay. Great.
And then you'll have to rinse it out because there's usually dirt that collects
Sure.
in there. And it's sort of the same with cabbage. There's that part that you need to cut off.
Okay. So just the very end. And you can use all the leaves as well as the
Yep. So they
base.
just
Okay.
slice it up with a sharp knife.
And bok choy is pretty traditional in a stir fry recipe, so that's great to have.
Voila.
All right, great.
Yeah.
And what about the ginger? That's probably the most daunting.
Ginger.
Right. And we wanted to talk about, so if you do buy a large root like that, how would you recommend that we store that?
I usually keep mine in the refrigerator, or you can keep it in a cool, dry place.
Okay.
So usually one of these little, I don't know what they call them, a thumb or something, like a piece about this size.
Okay, about an inch or so. Yep.
It's usually about a tablespoon.
Okay.
So so you want to peel the skin off, kind of like an apple.
All right.
Something I do at home is I will store the peeled ginger in the freezer.
Okay.
Makes it a lot easier to work with then. And you can use like one of these microplane graters to grate the ginger because it can be so fibrous.
Sure.
It's hard to
cut.
grate it up when it's not frozen.
Okay.
This recipe calls for chopped ginger, so you just peel it and then cut it
Almost
up
looks like a
into
potato when you start peeling it.
Yeah, it does.
It's a pretty fibrous consistency, like you mentioned. So I'm gonna use a sharp
So
knife,
again, yes, it's good to have a sharp knife for this.
and maybe not something you want the kiddos to help with.
Right. Difficult.
And you said similar to cabbage. So if we're going to buy a cabbage, you could use green cabbage or red cabbage, any cabbage that's available.
Yeah, any cabbage. They're
Okay.
Kind of all interchangeable.
Sure.
And just chop it up into little pieces
Right.
with your sharpener.
Nice.
And the same is true for the garlic also.
And how much did you say garlic we needed for this recipe? 2 tablespoons?
6 cloves.
Oh, 6 cloves. Okay.
So your head of garlic is like this. And again, you want to peel off the outside to get to the cloves.
And we talked about, I think in the first episode, we had garlic that comes with the grated. That is a nice way to actually keep the garlic fresh. It stays, keeps it a little fresher longer.
Okay, so then you can peel each of these cloves off of here. And then you'll take the clove and keep peeling. And then if you just cut the end off here,
Okay.
you see you can peel away the
Sure.
last layer of skin.
So you're looking for the actual inside piece of garlic, so it should be white or pearl
Yes,
looking, I
it
guess.
will be white. If you cut off the other end,
Sure.
that helps.
Great. Well, thank you for taking the time to explain that. So some of the viewers at home maybe haven't used some of the products that are available at the farmer's market. No need to be intimidated. You can also ask the vendors. I'm sure that they can help with, explaining how to store them.
Yeah, a lot of them
And prep
are
them.
really good cooks also. And they have a
Absolutely.
lot of cooking suggestions and ideas. So definitely worth asking.
Great.
Just chop it up. So,
All right. Well, thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
So we're going to move on now to dessert. So what do we have for dessert?
So today we're going to make a caramel apple dip
Okay.
and using these pristine apples from Ada Orchards. It's a yellow apple, very crisp and tart, unlike the yellow delicious apples, which are often bland and mealy.
Sure.
So-
Pairs well with the sweeter sauce.
Yes, it does do well, and they're also really good for baking pies, and
Right.
apple crisp, and that sort of thing.
Right. And apples are typically associated with fall. Couple fun facts too. We have in the United States 2,500 different varieties. So obviously, don't be afraid to try new varieties. Check with the farmers market vendors to see what type and taste are available for you and your family. Like Maria had said, these are yellow, but they're not anywhere similar to the flavor or the taste of the delicious.
Right,
So.
right.
Also, something interesting to know, Honeycrisp are one of those up-and-coming fruits that we have seen a lot more. And they were actually manufactured by a Minnesota scientist, and he crossed a Macoun and a Honeygold apple. So that's how that came to be. Some of those
know that.
varieties aren't available all over, especially in Wisconsin, but we can still
Right.
get them in.
Right.
So going to chop up the apples and how many ever you feel like you want to eat with your dip, or whatever you have on hand.
Okay.
Some apple trees as well, they don't produce fruit for at least between it's 4 to 5 years before some of the apple trees will actually produce fruit. So if you do purchase an apple tree, you may not get fruit on your trees for at least 5 years. So that's something to keep in mind too.
You know, weather has a lot to do with that too. I know that one of the orchards suffered quite a bit of tree loss this year due to the weather. The
Hail.
hail, rain, frost.
Wisconsin.
Frost in Wisconsin.
Sure.
Okay, so cut up the apple, and then so for the sauce, we're going to take our dark corn syrup,
Okay.
and then we have white sugar and
Turn that on for you.
brown sugar.
And about how long does the sauce have to simmer or cook? Does it have to get to a
About-
boil?
Yeah, you want it to boil for a little bit. Again, that's what helps it to thicken. And then a little bit of salt.
So brown sugar and white sugar. And can you tell some of the viewers what the difference is between the brown sugar and the white sugar? What makes it brown? Molasses.
Molasses.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah, one of the you have a light brown or a dark brown depending on the amount that's used in it.
Good.
Great.
Interesting. I think that's how you get the caramel flavor also is from the molasses and the dark corn syrup
Right.
versus
me to
light corn syrup.
Stir that.
Sure.
All right. Do you add the heavy cream? Or not to
add it
this?
more towards
Okay.
the end.
So this is just really kind of reducing and melding those flavors of the sugars.
Right. Yeah. The cream now,
Cream now?
the butter and the vanilla at the
After?
end.
Okay.
Yes.
And using the cream, I suppose it is important. We don't want to have that scald, so we really need to be
Yep.
kind of stirring
Yep.
consistently.
And until it's all the sugar is dissolved, and then you can let it cook for a little, bubble a low simmer for
Okay.
about 15 minutes. Then you'll want to let it. Then you'll add the butter and the vanilla, and then let it cool for about, I don't know, probably 10, 15 minutes, half hour, depending how much time you have.
Or how long you
much
can.
patience
I was
you
just
have.
going to say how long you can wait.
Yes.
All right. So while that's simmering, we do have one that you've already prepared. So this is what the finished product is going to look like.
This is what it looks like. A thick.
And if we
Caramel
are going to
sauce.
use the caramel sauce, do we need to refrigerate that after?
Yes, you should refrigerate it.
Okay.
Because there is dairy in it.
Right. So any apples could be used in this recipe.
You can use any apples. Like I said, I prefer these because they're tart and this sauce is sweet, so it's a nice compliment.
Great. Thank you.
All right, so that's our meal for today.
All right. So stay tuned. We will be back for another episode of Market Fresh Meals.
Which will feature root vegetables.
All right. Great. Looking forward to it.